Hey guys, so today I am going to show you guys how I make my deviled eggs. I looked on YouTube and it looks like that's kind of a thing that a lot of people ask about for holidays, and I am known for my deviled eggs with my family. The kids tend to eat them while I'm making them, as do the adults, because I always make them fresh right at the house usually, just because that's just how it's always been. Mom's always cooked the eggs and then I've always just made it real quick right there. So today that's what we're gonna do. Alright, so like I said, the first thing I'm gonna do is drop some eggs in, but I am gonna add a little bit of salt to that water. I just always do. I'm gonna put 6 in. Now I always use store-bought eggs for this because my chicken eggs are a little gamey whenever I try to make deviled eggs with them or any sort of boiled eggs. So I don't like to do that. So we're gonna bring it to a boil, and then as soon as it's done boiling, I'm gonna go ahead and pull it off and put a lid on it, and then it will sit for about 15 minutes. All right, y'all, so this has been boiling for about 2 minutes now, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull it off and put a lid on it. Let's turn that heat off, move it over, and then put a lid on it. And I'm gonna set a timer for 15 minutes. And there's, okay, y'all, so we're back and it is all boiled and good to go. So I'm used to working from this direction, so I'm gonna leave it this way. So they're boiled, they were cooked, and then we had them on the oven with a lid for 15 minutes. And then I went ahead and rinsed out the water and put some cold water on, hence the reason why I'm covered in a little bit of water. I also put some ice in there just to kind of cool them off so I can go ahead and start cracking. So now you just crack all your eggs. So one little tip for when you're making deviled eggs is the older the eggs are, the easier they are to peel. So if you know that you're gonna make some deviled eggs for an event in like 2 weeks, I'd go ahead and get your eggs and set those eggs aside. Eggs usually, I believe they usually last about a month, even from the store. So if you set those aside and don't get like the eggs the day before, you'll have better luck with peeling and they won't end up all jacked up. I literally just bought these yesterday, so they are a little fresh, but they're really not that bad. So then once you've taken it completely out of the shell, I'm just rinsing it here and making sure that there's absolutely no shells left. And then usually I would rinse it again under the sink. And then I cut them directly in half. And then I dump straight into what I'm going to do for my food processor, the yolk part. And I promise deviled eggs are really easy. And I'm gonna go ahead and put them in a little pie dish. I'm not gonna bring out a big platter because again, I'm only making some for the house. I'm not entertaining anybody. This is just us. So, and there we go. And the most important part is to get your really good shells. If you have any shells that end up cracked really bad, you can go ahead and throw those into your mixture. So any of the egg whites, if they just end up terrible, you're embarrassed to show that, just go ahead and throw it in your blender. Nobody will even know. You're just one less deviled egg. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of these. Okay, yeah. So all of my eggs are peeled. I'm just gonna go ahead and cut them longwise. You also can cut them the other direction if you'd like. Say that part of your shell is messed up, part of your egg white is messed up and you want to go the other direction to salvage one egg, you definitely can. It's not going to hurt it, and nobody will even say anything. Especially if your eggs turn out really, really good, they'll just be happy they got a deviled egg. Whoop. So see that ripped? I'm gonna go ahead and salvage it. It'll be all right. It'll stick together. Now you could have thrown that straight in here and it would have been fine. I just push lightly on the middle part and push that out. And that's the easiest way to get them out. And then I'll scrape out any excess. And they don't have to be perfect because your filling's really going to cover it. So there's that. See, like that? So I'm just scraping it out. Alright. Now if you don't have a food processor, you can definitely make this just mixing it by hand. I just like it to be really creamy. So I always like to put it inside the Ninja. Alright, so we've got our egg yolks, egg whites, and here we go. So I don't measure these per se, I just add enough to where it starts to taste good. So, first thing I'm gonna add is some mayonnaise. We have the olive oil mayonnaise, and that was just what I grabbed at the store. Doesn't matter what type of mayonnaise you use. And I'm just gonna use, that was probably about 3 tablespoons, if I'm honest. And then I'm gonna add in, let's make sure there's no water that comes out. I'm gonna add in what's probably gonna be 2 teaspoons. I like a little bit of flavoring with it. And I'm gonna add in what would probably be a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Just for a little extra salt. And then I also like to add a little bit of pepper. So that's probably 1/8 of a teaspoon. Alright, so the cool thing is you pop it on. This one spins to lock. So I feel like I definitely need a little more mayonnaise because it's pretty thick. So I'm gonna grab what's probably another maybe 2 tablespoons and throw that in there. And I don't like to start tasting until I start to get a consistency that I like, because the mayonnaise kind of dilutes any sort of flavoring you're getting. Alright, let me use this spatula. I just want to get it off the walls because a lot of our mustard is still along the walls. And I'm going to add maybe another, that's probably 1.5 tablespoons. Just so it's a little creamier. Alright, that is definitely creamy. Let's see what I get. And that was, yeah. That's actually really good just like it is. So if you want more of a mustard flavor, go ahead and add more mustard. If you want more salt, add it. Add whatever you want to it. You can just scoop it out and stick it in a nice little shell and serve it like that. Dollop it, whatever you want. Or what I like to do, and I didn't grab anything to put this on. What I like to do is pipe it into them. So I use what you usually use to decorate with cakes. And you just use the cake tip. I'm using a star one because I want it to be fancy. Now this is a larger tip. This isn't your smaller tip. Alright. Okay, so let's push this off. I'm going to use a spatula because I'm probably going to get a lot more out of it with a spatula. There we go. And this is the part you don't want to waste. So I always use a spatula. Okay, so that's done. Voila, you have a perfect little bag to pipe. And then for piping, I just grab it. Usually like to add a little twist and then push. All right, y'all, so we are piping these. And this is just if you want to make it a little fancier than just putting it in there. Maybe your friend's really good at cooking and you want to look like you know what you're doing. Here's that broken egg that I have. See, like glue. Oh, and smeared all over the side. There's that. Maybe because that one's not as fancy, I'm gonna make it look like it was. And you can add more if you want, if there's some that don't have as much. Usually you run out of the filling though before you. Okay, so there you go. So then if you want to make it even more fancy, like that. If you want to make it even more fancy, you can go ahead and add some paprika to it. So I like to just dollop these. Usually when I'm making these for my family, I'll do about half and half with paprika, and that's because my nephew has autism, and for whatever reason, he cannot handle paprika. So I do half so that he can eat some because he does enjoy them. So that is your product. Ta-da! They're beautiful. And as usual, I know they're delicious. So I don't feel the need to do a taste test for those because I know they're delicious. But I will eat this broken one because he just looks so sad. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you guys really enjoyed this. I enjoy making these videos, and I hope you guys continue to watch them. So definitely hit the subscription button so you get all those little wonderful notifications of when I post. I do always try to post on a Friday at 4:30 every Friday. I'm pretty consistent with that. I may pop in and throw a few videos in once I finish school throughout the week as well. Just right now with travel and work and school, it's a little much. So every Friday you can count on me. I'll be there. But yeah, also let me know if you guys want to see anything because I'd love to help you out, and I'll learn if I need to learn. So I will see you guys next week.